Good morning. Today we are going to take the class on the remaining portion of manpower supply forecasting. That day we had talked about the internal supply of manpower resources, and basically today I am going to tell you about two areas. That day we talked about the skill inventories and replacement charts. Today we are going to talk about the succession planning and Markov chain analysis. Okay, so here we are, the forecasting of supply of internal candidates. Basically, these are the four methods we had discussed at length that day. Skill inventories, management inventories, replacement charts have been discussed at length. Today, we will be concentrating on the succession plans and the Markov analysis. This was the replacement chart. Now, in one thing, characteristically in replacement charts, we can see that the potential candidate has been identified and it had been marked with certain indications. Now, this is the scope of the replacement chart. It identifies the person who will be a potential candidate for a very, very senior and the critical position in the organization. But in case of the succession plans, the scope of succession plans is something extended, somehow extended. First of all, what we do, succession is actually, it means the graduation. When processes takes place in gradual fashion, we call it is in succession. In case of succession planning, normally what is done, a very, very senior and critical position of an organization is identified, and the potential candidates to fill up those particular positions are also identified. Now, only identification as it is done in case of the replacement chart is not enough for the succession plan. Rather, what is done, that particular person is actually identified and they are developed with all kinds of supports on the basis of their, in terms of their knowledge, in terms of their skills and abilities and attitude, the behavioral training as well. These types of trainings are provided, these types of groomings are being done for the potential candidates to occupy that senior position in the organization. Normally, what is done for the management trainees, the management trainees are taken into the organization with an objective that in a given period of time, they will reach to a significant position in the organization. So whatever the necessary supports a management trainee should be provided with, the organization provides them in terms of the knowledge, in terms of the skill, ability, and the attitude as well. Some behavioral counseling and behavioral trainings all are provided. It's a continuous process and they are nurtured very carefully so that one day they can take a higher position. So this is basically the succession planning. It is well above the replacement charts in terms of the quality because it includes the thorough and continuous developmental aspects as well. If you refer to the second point, you can see the scope extends beyond the replacement chart by focusing on developing people rather than simply identifying potential replacements. In replacement charts, we just identify the person with a certain notation or indication, some marks. But here we are identifying as well as we are providing them the necessary trainings as well. The next one, so that is the basic concept of the succession planning, and it is done in this way. The persons are identified, the employees are identified, and they are continuously and constantly nurtured. The next method of manpower supply analysis is the Markov analysis. Markov analysis, already we have studied in your operations research module, that it is basically, it identifies the probability of transfer from one level to another level, and that's why it creates a transitional probability matrix. So this is the matrix that we have in front of us. This is the transitional probability matrix. Transition from one level to another level, and the probability is identified through the calculation of the Markov chain analysis, and finally that calculation is written, and what should be the exact number being transited from one level to another, that is written in this chart. So this is the basic matrix for the Markov chain analysis or the Markov analysis, which is known as transitional probability matrix. Now this is a situation for an organization. This organization has got 4 employee levels up to the level of the manager. First, the production workers. Second one, the team leaders. Third one, the foreperson and plant manager. So these 4 are the levels in the entire hierarchy of the organization, limited to the management level only, not beyond that. Now this is a scenario of 2013 and 2014. Obviously we are doing an internal supply analysis. This is purely an internal supply analysis. No element of the external supply has been considered in this. So it's purely the internal matrix, internal manpower supply matrix. Now, standing in the year of 2013, I have to plan for 2014. Same is applicable for 2020-21 and the respective the years. Now, in case of the production worker, see this first level, production worker, currently I am having 861 workers in the organization. This is the level production worker, N is equals to 861. Now, based on the performance of the workers, it has been decided that 6% of the total number, 6% of 861 can be promoted to the next level of team leader. See, that next level is team leader. So obviously the promotion will be up to this. A production worker cannot be promoted to the level of the plant manager directly. A production worker can have a promotion till the level of team leader. So 6% of the, it's a decision of the management that based on the performance of the workers as well, that only 6% of the entire production worker 861 can be promoted to the level of team leader. So exactly the same thing is written. The same thing is written over here, that 861, if you calculate, you can see that 861, 6% of 861 is 52. Okay, so that particular number is promoted to the level of team leader. So what will be the remaining amount? 861 minus 52, that will be the remaining amount. Now that remaining amount, it has been observed that based on the past trend, or maybe the trend that can be perceived for the current year as well, it has been observed, decided that 22% of the current production worker can leave the organization. This is the exit column. 22% of the remaining means 861. 22% of 861 may leave the organization. So the number comes as 22% of 861 comes as 189. So that is the number is likely to exit the organization. It's purely the forecasting plan. It has not happened in reality, but it will happen or it may happen as per the probability is concerned. So there is a probability that 22% can leave. So 189 will be the figure. What will be the remaining figure? 861 minus 52 minus 189. We are left with 620 employees, which is actually the 72% of the entire present production worker. Okay, so this is the scenario. If we just sum up, we will see that this total number should come as 861, and these percentages should be accumulated to 100%. Now, team leader. Currently, I am having 110 team leaders. Okay, so out of 110, we have identified that 11% team leaders are actually promotable to the next level of 4%. So 11% of that 110 will be 12. That is the number who can be promoted. Now, maybe the company is having some demotion policy as well. Those who are the non-performers, the company has decided to put them, lower down the order, and they can be demoted to the level of production worker. But the number is less, percentage is less, only 7%. And the number comes as 8. 7% of 110, the number is 8. Just like this previous case, either from the past trend or from the present trend, it has been decided or identified that 12% can leave the organization. So the number comes as 13, 12% of 110. So what will be the remaining number? 110 minus 12 minus 8 and minus 13. Okay. So the total figure comes as 33. 110 minus 33, the remaining portion, the leftover is actually 77, which is actually constituting the 70% of the existing team leader workforce. So this is the scenario. If I just sum up, it should come as 110, and these numbers, the percentages should be added up to 100 only, the full percentage. Same applies to the 4% as well. 4%, 35 in number, 3 are promotable. 3 are means 8% are promotable. So the number comes as 3. 10% can leave the organization. Number comes as 4. Okay, and this is the remaining one. 35 minus 3 minus 4. So the remaining number comes as 28, and the percentage is 82. In case of the plant managers, we are having existing 5, out of which actually this matrix is limited to the plant manager level. So we are not actually having any the higher level being shown over here. So that's why we are seeing that the 4 will remain, 80% of the plant managers will remain over here, and 1 means 20%, or 1 may exit the organization. Okay, and there is no downtrend, there is a demotion policy for the plant managers. So this is the matrix which is showing the transition, the movement from one level to another one. Now, in 2014, what is the probably what is the total number that I can get for each and every position? For plant manager in 2014, existing 4, and I can get some promoted people from the 4% level. So 4 plus 7 will be, sorry, 4 plus 3 will be 7. Same happens for this. 28 is my existing strength for the 4%, and 12 team leaders will be promoted. So 28 plus 12, the number is 40. In 2014, I can have 44% in my organization. Similarly, for team leaders, existing 77 and promotable 52. Together, the number is coming as 129. For production workers, existing 620, and there will be the actually there is no promotable person, right? There is no promotable one because we do not have any promotable one, but still this 8, okay, these 8 are actually coming from the team leaders level. They are being demoted. Okay, 620 is my present strength, and 8 individuals are being demoted from team leaders level. So total number will be 620 plus 8, 620. So in 2014, I can have, this will be my total strength position wise in 2014. And one thing is very clear, I believe to you as well, that there is no external supply. Everything is being calculated on the basis of the internal supply. So this is the application of the Markov chain analysis. So I will conclude my lecture here. The remaining part, the wastage analysis, utilization analysis, will be discussed in the following lecture sessions. Till that point of time, thank you very much. Stay indoor and stay safe.